All right, welcome to the next episode of Veterans Perspectives. This is going to be part two of our education series. Remember, part one was our overview of education, the closure of the Department of Education, my advocacy for it, uh, how I agree with it, how it needed to happen, bring that power back to the states, and some of the state responsibility. And today, part two is going to be focused on the blog, which I will link with the podcast, both on YouTube and all the places where the podcast is sent out: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and other platforms. Part two, state departments, school boards, and districts. Stuck in the past and slowing down progress. Be prepared. You're about to be called out. It's going to happen. But first, our sponsor, it is me. I am your sponsor today, but I'm always your sponsor, right? But this time a little bit different. I know I've been plugging our Etsy store. I'll continue to plug our Etsy store. Buy stuff from us. It's pretty good stuff. But today is going to be my Amazon author page. I'm actually the author of a few books and a journal for veterans to help the healing process. And I'm actually in the process of about maybe a third of the way through of completing a 100-day journal for men. Because I'm a man, I wouldn't write a journal for women. That would be mansplaining. Why would I do that? but I am an author. I would like to share my books with as many people as possible. I've had a few people buy my books of poetry and my journal, and people seem to enjoy them. So I want to get them out there more, kind of promote them a little bit more, and I figured this is the best avenue to do so. So I will leave the link to my author page on Amazon. I publish all my books on Amazon because it's free. So that you guys could take a look at those. Most of them are available on, well, they're all available through paperback, and most of them are available through ebook form as well, except for their journal. Their journal's only available for paperback because it's intended to be written in or on. So I did not and cannot publish that via ebook. Okay, but all the other ones are available in ebook and on paperback. So I will link that down in the bio, or sorry, down in the description. It's in the bio too. So, all right, let's get started. This is based directly off the blog, which I will link below, my Beehive blog. Which please subscribe to that. We're trying to grow that. It's free to subscribe. Again, I don't, there's no paywall on that. Please subscribe, because then I can run ads on that, or Beehive will allow ad placement on that, which will give me a little bit of revenue, which is always a good thing. So, I am recording this at about 6:36 in the morning at my house on Thursday. As you guys know, I try to release my blogs on Friday mornings at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Arizona time is when I release them on Fridays, usually. But I'm recording this at about 6:36 in the morning, so bear with me. My hair's a little crazy this morning. But for those of you that are watching the video. But again, part two of our educational series. State departments, school boards, and districts stuck in the past, slowing down progress. So this is a continuation of our conversation about dismantling the Federal Department of Education. The problem in education isn't just at the federal level, okay? It's easy and fun to blame the federal level because that's the one that most people look at. It's just like when people blame the president for high gas prices, right? Or blame the president for high grocery prices, or blame the president for the stock market, or give them credit for those things, right? I find that funny every single time. Like, oh, the president, like, those are markers for sure when we're judging and evaluating, right? But those are not the end all be all, right? For or against, right? State departments of education, school boards, and districts are simply stuck in an outdated system. Okay? The public school system is outdated. We still teach children like it's the 1800s. We just give them Chromebooks and pretend like we're advanced. Period. We tell you, or they tell you, that they give your students individualized instruction, but they don't. Right? They do not. That is a buzzword and a buzz term, right? Oh, they gave your kid less options on a test and called it individualized because it was part of their IEP to give them 2 options instead of 4. That's not individualized instruction. That's modification. They modified it. And they probably did it for 4 other kids who had the same thing on their IEP. Teachers do not have the time or the capacity to individualize instruction for 35 kids. It's impossible. And then if you're in high school and middle school, where kids rotate, right? For example, if you're a high school history and government teacher who has 6 periods throughout the day at 35 kids a pop, 6 times 35, how are you going to individualize that? It's an unrealistic expectation put on to teachers by school districts and leadership. Okay? They're bogged down by an unwillingness to change. Most districts and boards are run by people that are old. And I'm going to be real, they're run by people that are old and white, depending on where you're at. Okay? They cling on to failed policies, and the boards, especially because those failed policies get them reelected. Remember, boards are elected in most districts in this country. Boards are elected positions. Okay? So they hold on to these policies that have gotten them elected in the past. And much like the Federal House of Representatives, if you're reelected once, you can get reelected 10 times because it's all about name recognition. That's what it's all about. And they put on this happy face. Oh, we care about kids. Okay, good for you. We all care about kids. But what are you doing to improve their reading scores? What are you doing to improve their writing acumen? What are you doing to improve their life skills for when they leave school? Because these kids leave school and they don't know how to balance a budget. These kids leave school and they don't know how to function and pay taxes. They don't know how to manage getting car insurance. Basic life functions, right? We talk about this amazing stuff like, oh, VR, AI, all awesome, great stuff that should be part of any curriculum, right? But our kids leave school and go into the real world, and most of them don't know how to survive. Don't know how to cook a meal. Right? And some of that's on the parents. Don't worry, in part 3, I'm coming after you too. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, parents. You're going to get yours too. Okay? So if we truly want to see the future of education unfold, be truly advanced, these institutions have to break free of whatever shackles they think they need to hold on to and take steps forward. State Departments of Education, I'm going to start with you. They are the most resistant to change. They have been, in most cases, mirror images of the Federal Department of Education, just at the state level, right? They perpetuate outdated policies. They hinder innovation. They want nothing to do with innovation because innovation, it costs money, right? They fail to embrace tools and strategies. Okay. They're still operating in the 20th century when we're in the 21st century and we have been for 25 years. They're dominated by, it's just a bureaucratic bullshit process to do anything. To do anything at state departments of education. Let me give you an example from the teacher perspective. Here in Arizona, until very, very recently, to renew your teaching certificate, your license, you couldn't do it online. You had to physically get on paper your professional development hours, get it signed and certified by your district, and then you had to physically mail or fax or take it to the state Department of Education, pay the fee because we have to pay a fee for our license to get your certificate renewed. Until very recently, within the last few years, I think it happened over the pandemic. Until very recently, you could not renew online. That's wild to me. That's wild. And guess what the office hours of the State Department of Education are? Monday through Friday from probably 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 5 p.m. School hours. School hours. How the fuck is a teacher supposed to renew their certificate during school hours? You have to take a day off to renew your certificate. That's antiquated. That's stupidity. The rest of the world is moving forward. Now, to be fair, the rest of the world, and by this I mean China, because that's who we always compare ourselves to for some reason. I think it's because the people are like, oh, the Chinese are better at us in math, right? I think that might be racist, by the way, and people say that. But we always compare ourselves to China. China's education system is forced, right? In a lot of ways, their education system is forced. They also track students, right? And they move kids out who do not perform. We don't do that in the United States. We afforded education or an opportunity to education for all students, regardless of ability. So we do have that to work with, right? And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. All students should have the opportunity for education. We have to be able to work with our state departments of education to embrace things like AI, personalized learning. They use the term data-driven, but they use data against teachers instead of for students. Yeah, I said it. The word data-driven to teachers is a bad word. Tell me if I'm wrong, teachers. We hear the term data-driven, and I still refer to myself as a teacher. I did it for 14 years. I get to say that. Okay? We hear the phrase data-driven, and we cringe. We go, oh, fuck. Fuck. I've sat in the back of PDs in various schools with various different teachers from various different backgrounds, and every single one hears the term data-driven, and they roll their eyes. Oh, God. Every single one. You know why that is? Because it's presented to us as a negative. Oh, we got to make data-driven decisions. What data? How's it used? Why is it used? Now, sometimes that's the teachers taking it as a negative, but most of the time it's presented to us as a negative. So that data needs to be clear, concise, and not doctored, by the way, state departments. Stop doctoring your fucking data. Stop messing with your data. Present raw data. Stop tinkering with your bullshit letter grades, districts. Yeah, and don't worry, you're next. Stop doing that. No one cares about whatever you moved here to get there and whatever bullshit algorithm you did to make sure this school over here was a B and not a C. No one gives a goddamn fuck. Parents just want to know what their kids scored and how they can improve. That's it. That's it. Stop propping up your schools with bullshit algorithms and doctored data. Stop doing it. Stop it. It's bad. It's bad for schools. It's bad for kids. Embrace technology. Don't just throw Chromebooks at kids and say, yeah, we're a technology school. We're a one-to-one technology school. Yeah. Shut up. You gave your teachers very, very few good opportunities to train and learn with that technology, to how to actually incorporate it into schools. You probably got a fucking grant from like Verizon or something that gave you a bunch of tablets, and then you didn't do shit with them except for use them to replace paper worksheets. That's all it did. It replaced paper. That's not innovation. It's not. You went from having a kid write a paper to having a kid type a paper. Woo! I did that when I was in high school in 1996, when I was a freshman. Come on. Is some of that on the teachers? Yes. But a lot of that is on the is on the state departments, filtered through the districts, right? Filtered through the teachers in the departments. It starts at the top. Starts at the top. So you need to embrace that. The bureaucratic mindset has run its course. Okay? Stop doing it. Open up. Open up. We talk all the time in schools, all the fucking time. Have a growth mindset. But our leaders don't. But our leaders don't. They have a closed bureaucratic mindset. But then they expect their subordinates, their teachers, to have a growth mindset. Oh, I can. I will. But then at the top, we really can't do that. There's this involved and that involved, and whatever bullshit excuses they want to come up with. What's good for the goose is supposed to be good for the gander, right? Guess not. Typical. School boards and districts. The gatekeepers of stagnation is what I titled it in the blog. State departments, if they're the ones dragging their feet, school boards and districts block progress. They flat out block progress. Okay? They're filled with individuals that are out of touch with reality. They're political positions. Okay? Much like now in most states, the Secretary of Education is the political position, right? It's the one political position, right? And then it's filtered, and then it has the bureaucracy, right? The jobs that are part of the state department. School boards are all elected, and then they have their aides and all that stuff, right? Districts have their superintendent, their assistant superintendent, and then 950 different fucking departments, which they don't need half of. They waste money like crazy by making up fucking departments for their friends. Yeah, I said it. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Like, I'm the director of innovating language artsy drawing shit. Look at the titles of some of the people in your district and you'll know what I'm talking about. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay? A lot of these individuals, especially school boards, okay? Some of them have never been inside of a classroom. Now, that's not bad, okay? I don't want to say that's bad because most of them are parents or have been parents, okay? I would never say that a parent shouldn't be part of a school board because I'm a parent myself. I sit in a unique position as a parent and a former educator. Um, Maybe I should run for school board. I don't know, but um, so that I mean, like I put in the blog, get out of touch with reality of today's classroom because a lot of them are old. They're old. Okay, and like, I'm not saying it's bad to be old, but in the world of education, where we're trying to innovate, where we're trying to have this growth mindset, where we're trying to open up, we're closing in, right? The ideas are rooted in the past. It could be budget allocations, it could be curriculum updates, technology integration, stuff like that, and how it's used seems to be rooted in the past. Now, it's hard to make assumptions here because I don't know every school board, right? I physically can't know every school board in the country, right? They're all different. I can only look at my own experiences, right? And charter schools are very different, right? Charter schools have boards. Some are open boards, some are closed boards, some are semi-open, and it depends on the state you're in with charters as well. Uh, Public boards are intended to, again, every state has different laws. Our state, they have open boards. They're all elected positions, and the meeting minutes are intended to be open. They're open to the public. You can appeal for public comments, all that jazz. But they're ineffective, right? Especially here in Arizona, where we rank low in education and then we blame immigration. That's exactly what happens here. We rank low in education, and then we blame immigrants. Stop doing that. Stop it. You're blaming kids. What? Come on, man. The adults are failing the kids. The boards are failing the kids. The districts that are locked into some bullshit, ineffective routines are failing the kids. The districts that once or twice a week take their school leadership of all the schools in the district off campus during the school day to have leadership meetings are failing the kids. Stop it. Stop doing that. You want to have fucking leadership meetings? Do it after school. Taking principals and assistant principals off of all of your campuses during the school day and then pretending that you're running your shit efficiently, fuck the right off. Because you're not. You're not. The unwillingness to embrace change, as you can tell, to me, is infuriating. And it's not just the unwillingness to embrace change, it's the unwillingness to embrace change while pretending like you are. You're frauds. You are frauds. Technology is at its highest it's ever been and growing. Breakneck speed. Right? But then I hear our kids need to write with pencil and paper because of cognitive skills. When's the last fucking time I picked up a pencil or a pen to write something down? And I'm a pretty decent writer. I could not tell you. Shit, the last time I signed something was on my computer. Live in the real world. Live in the real world. Think about it. Why are we relying on outdated materials? Textbooks. I'm fine with chalkboards, right? That's fun to write on a chalkboard or a whiteboard, right? You have your announcements and shit up there, right? But why do we not have up to date materials and up to date curriculum in the moment? Why do we fear technology as educators? Why do we fear it? It makes no sense. I taught history and government. Why would I fear technology? Why would I fear information? Why would I fear access to it, right? We freak out about phones, and I'm going to call out the Trump administration right here. Get phones out of the classroom. Fuck off. Use phones in the classroom for technology. Leverage the phones for education. Oh, our districts can't afford tablets for everyone? Look, all you motherfuckers have a cell phone. Pull that shit out. Let's use Kahoot on our phones. Download that shit. Hey, let's all look up stuff on our phones. I'm going to be monitoring. I'm walking around. It ain't that hard. I've done it. Are you going to have one or two jerk-offs doing something stupid? Yeah. They're kids. Handle it. Stop living in the past, man. These right here, these cell phones, right? I'm holding it in my hand right now. This is my cell phone. Okay? These are power. These are fucking computers in your pocket. Why do we fear these in classrooms? Oh, wait, I'll tell you why. Because your leaders don't empower teachers to actually teach. They're fucking babysitters. You expect your teachers to be babysitters and not teachers. Oh, Jeff, why would you say something like that? Because I'm right. Admit it. Disastrous impact on vulnerable students. And I'll explain that here in a second. Let's be clear here. The unwillingness to evolve has disastrous consequences on the most vulnerable students. Special education students, minorities, low-income backgrounds, okay, are disproportionately affected by outdated systems. Schools that refuse to embrace technology, that refuse to embrace personalized learning, and the advantages of AI especially, they create more gaps. The gap is widening. Okay? So we already know that there's a gap between the regular gen ed student and those disproportionate students, right? That I named. Okay? There's already a gap. Okay? That was already widening under the system that exists now that we know doesn't work. But we continue to use it and do it because districts and school boards and the State Department of Education don't embrace change. Okay? Because they're the definition of insanity. Okay? They continue to do the same thing and they're getting the same, if not worse, results. Okay? It's widening. Okay? But they do nothing and they know it's widening. What's your response to that? Special education students. The lack of access to personalized learning paths and adaptive technologies is nothing short of criminal. And everyone's like, oh, but they have an IEP. An IEP is a piece of fucking paper. When they don't have access to the actual path to the personalized learning and the resources to achieve it, the piece of paper means nothing. My special education teachers are miracle workers. Imagine if they had the resources along with their miracle working. Imagine that. AI-powered platforms to create the learning paths based off of their IEP? Oh, man. Embrace that shit. Use your special education departments with AI learning paths. Oh, my gosh. They could be adjusted for their unique needs depending on what their IEP is for, what their needs are. They can offer those individualized assessments based on those. They could increase or decrease depending on the scores they're getting or the skills they're demonstrating. But hey, one size fits all, right? Standardized testing for all. Fuck off. Fuck off. Literally give the same standardized test to all kids and then say you individualize instruction. Yeah. That happens. That happens. And then on the flip side, you know who else? You know who else gets ignored? Your high-performing students. Your vulnerable students and your high-performing students are ignored the most. Okay? In the attempt to support struggling students, because, okay, let me explain this. Schools try to prop up kids on the bubble. Kids that are about to pass the standardized test or that are close. Okay? They do district testing. District testing is meant to mimic standardized state testing. Okay? They see those kids that are on the bubble. Oh, if you can get this percentage of kids to pass the district test, they're going to do well on the state test and you're going to get a better letter grade. It's not about the fucking learning. It's about your goddamn letter grade. So get these struggling kids on this part of the bubble, not below it, which are your vulnerable students, not above it, because these are your high achieving students, right? But right here on this little bubble, get them to come up just a little bit. And you're a good teacher. You're a good teacher. Yay. So who gets ignored? You're vulnerable, you're marginalized, and you're high performing. High achievers get under challenged. Most schools, especially middle schools or the middle grades, because here in Arizona, there's very few middle schools because K through 8 schools do not want middle schools because then they lose student populations, which means they lose funding, which means they have to unify with the high schools around them, which means they lose board positions and superintendent positions because all they care about is money. So the middle grades, the 6, 7, and 8 grades, suffer the most because they don't have honors programs, like honors classes. Most of them don't have clubs because they're understaffed. So those kids are literally left, those high-performing kids, they're left in an environment that doesn't meet their academic needs. You're failing your high-performance kids. Districts are failing their high-performing kids. They could have access to more advanced coursework, specialized learning platforms developed by AI based off of their performance. But because districts and boards won't adapt, these students miss out on opportunities. You're not individualizing. You refuse to individualize, and you tell people you are. It's a joke. It's a joke. State and local leaders must take bold action or get the fuck out the way. Period. It's time to stop making excuses. State departments of education, school board, and districts have had more than enough time to figure it out, and they have failed. They have failed. Much like the federal Department of Education failed. Their hesitation, their resistance to change has created and resulted in a system that leaves too many students behind. Period. While other students are understimulated and bored. How many times have you heard a kid say they're bored at school? Now, some are just like, okay, calm down. Other kids are done with their work halfway through the period and they're bored. Imagine what the actual use of technology could do for that. And empowering your teachers to use it, training them to use it. And teachers, that's on you too, to take PD seriously and actually bring that back to your classrooms. If these institutions, again, refuse to evolve, which they've refused to evolve for 2 centuries, just about, they need to get out of the way. They need to cease to exist. And let those who understand the urgency of the moment, which this is an urgent moment, take charge. The future of education lies in the integration of technology. Okay? AI, personalized learning, okay? None of which will happen if our state and local leaders refuse to embrace it. We're well beyond being in the digital age, and our education refuses to embrace it. Our educational leaders refuse to embrace it. These levels of education need to step up. They have to be part of the solution instead of continuing to be the problem. This means ensuring every student, no matter their background, I don't care what their background is, has access to technology. They need to thrive, but also that technology needs to be used for education. And students, that's on you too. Don't worry, you're part of this too, right? But there also needs to be the element of creating a learning environment that challenges all students, including your highest performing students. So a call to action. I have solutions too. I'm just not an old man yelling at clouds. Okay? State departments of education, school boards, and districts need to stop standing in the way of progress. Stop being a roadblock. Okay? If you're going to continue to do so, you need to step aside for those that can make change. Okay? Here's what needs to happen. I have 4 things that need to happen. You're all going to hate the last one, but I'll make it sound good. 1 is invest in infrastructure. Students need and deserve access to technology, laptops, tablets, high-speed internet, no more excuses. Access for all. Train your educators, and educators, take your training seriously. Professional development to support leveraging technology effectively, and it's not optional. Teachers, if you don't show up, there's your job. Prioritize personalized learning. AI and technology straight up offer unprecedented opportunities to provide customized learning paths for all students. Use it. You're not just going to copy and paste the AI. You're going to use it to give you a template for each student. And then you as educators look at it and go, okay, let's edit. I see this, I see that. Let's move this here. Let's make changes and actually individualize it. There's no excuses. This needs to be the new norm. It's not an exception. It needs to be the rule. Data-driven decisions. Now listen. Schools and districts and boards should be making decisions based on data, not outdated traditions. If students are falling behind, it's time to intervene with technology-driven solutions. We know our kids are behind. The standardized test needs to go away. It has to go. What's it improving? What's it proving? It has to go. Okay? We preach data-driven, but then our states don't even fucking use it. It's got to go. Now's the time. The time for change was yesterday, but it needs to be now. We can't afford slow-moving, outdated systems anymore. We have to prompt and push states, boards, districts to push for these changes because it's going to serve our students better. Period. Okay? If they continue to resist, you need to elect other people. As a government teacher, which I was for many, many years, the power of the vote is in our hands. Parents, you especially. Stop re-electing the same people to your boards of education. If you are unhappy with what is happening in your schools, stop re-electing the same people. Stop it. Oh, I know who that is. I'm going to vote for them. Stop it. Don't do it. You're going to get the same results, and that result is going to impact your kids or the kids in your neighborhood. Because I know some of you are thinking, well, I don't have kids. Okay, cool. Are there kids in your neighborhood? Yeah. It impacts your fucking neighborhood. Grow up. Schools impact all of us, whether you have kids or not. Man, I went off on this one, huh? This is only the second one, too. Oh, shit. Oh, that was a good one. That's a good one. So state departments, school boards, and districts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Am I off base? Am I on base? Do you like some of what I said? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? It's okay to disagree with me. I don't mind. Just be respectful in the comments. What are some topics you guys want me to write blogs about and do podcasts about? Because remember, I do my podcast based off of my blogs. Okay. So let me know down in the comments. Make sure you guys subscribe to the blog and to the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube as well. Thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.